Computer. Okay. So Russell, tell me, what do you do and for how long have you done it?
So we're greenfield marketing. We're a field marketing company, which isn't probably an industry known by name to many companies that aren't within the industry. What we do is we work with any high street brands and grocery brands, and we implement their sales and marketing plans in store and retail stores. So that can be anything, Scott, from sales blitzes, they do distribution, they place in marketing point of sale in stores. They go on and building permanent retail displays like you would see in the likes of Boots or House of Fraser and so on. Then right through the reporting back on what's happening in the market. So going out on the stores, auditing competitors' activity, what's happening on the actual shop shelves and what's happening with consumers. So in essence, we probably put our clients' products in dangers of being sold, is what we say, you know. In terms of duration, our company actually started in 1985 in Dublin. We've a few changes over the years, but last April, myself and a couple of colleagues completed a management buyout of the Northern Ireland business. So, I've been with the business 22 years. We still have kind of, you know, that new business challenges that we've been up against this past year. So, it's been a long journey, but it's been exciting now. And a new chapter has just begun.
Brilliant. And it all sounds really, really positive. What does your ideal customer look like then?
So anybody that has products that are in a retail store. So whether that's a grocery retail from your Tesco's and Asda right down to your Spars, Macy's, Vivos, anything you see in the high street like Boots or House of Fraser, anything you see in big box retailers, Homebase, B&Q, Curry stores, anybody that has product in those stores and is trying to sell to the consumer, that's our customer base. That's who we go after.
You work with them then. And what's been the biggest impact of COVID? And give me like one or two actions you've taken because of the pandemic.
Here, I think they're similar to a lot of other companies where first thing is we had to keep operating during lockdown. A lot of our teams, because we were dealing with foodstuffs, so we're in again Spars, Euro Spars, etc., making sure the product was on the shelf and available. We were frontline workers, so with lockdown being out of the office, we had to find a way to operate. So remote working has been the biggest change for us, and loads of other companies as well. Something we really adapted to really well, Scott, and we had to. Everybody had no choice but to adapt quickly and make those changes.
Absolutely.
We actually found it actually improved our communication because we became more structured in our communication rather than, you know, shouting across an office when someone was going for a cup of coffee for a bit of advice or help. So we actually found it improved us operationally. So challenge to get it started, necessity to get it started, tight timelines, but we adapted very well, you know. And that's something we're continuing now to this day. We've no plans of changing the kind of flexible worker model and allowing people to work from home, work in the office when they need to, you know.
It's been a good legacy for you then that way.
It has, real positive.
And what's been your biggest learning since you've been in business?
Since I've been in business, as in our business now, it's all about people. It's all about finding the right people and ducking them right, onboarding them correctly, keeping the communication with them, rewarding them properly, and recognizing them. But everything we do is about people. It revolves around people. You can have all the technology in the world, but for us, having the right team with the right mindset, trained correctly and rewarded correctly, that's the biggest learning. We can do nothing without people, you know.
Brilliant. I like that. What have been the biggest issues you've had to overcome then?
With COVID or just since we brought over the business, Scott?
Just let's go with since you brought over the business.
You know, probably the biggest one, because we dealt with COVID because we had to, but our biggest challenge has probably been the protocol. A lot of our equipment comes in from GB or Europe. That's a massive impacting our business, where we've had so many delays since last January, where we've planned projects, we've had the staff booked, we've had all the vehicles booked, the equipment booked up in the stores, and our delivery is 2 weeks late because someone in the chain didn't understand or didn't play their part in terms of the paperwork and the process, which means that this past year and a half, a lot of projects we've been having to plan 2 or 3 times, which has an impact on your margins and your cost base. So that's been a huge challenge. Naturally, we've worked to mitigate that in terms of our planning, but it's challenging, particularly when a lot of our timelines are driven by retailers' marketing plans in stores, so things like price changes, promotions, which a delivery being late to Ireland isn't going to change the deadline for Tesco's making a price change. So that's been the biggest challenge, without a doubt.
Okay. What are your biggest learnings in business and in life?
And in life,
we're getting into it now. We're getting deep.
You're getting in. I'm going to repeat myself, Scott.
Yeah, that's okay.
As the team, the people around you is holding on to the best people. You can try. I think particularly recently with the labour market the way it's been, and I know this has experienced a lot of my clients and a lot of people I've spoken to, is that holding on to talent has become difficult and more expensive. But that's an investment. So spending that money trying to keep the right team together and rewarding them correctly you get a lot more return on investment out of that than trying to save a penny here and there and losing the right people within your business.
Yeah, the opportunity cost of not having the right people is greater than having them and paying for them.
100%. And here I've learned that the hard way a couple of times over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you? I mean, I think a lot of sort of young leaders or people just starting out struggle to let go, and delegate that down to the right people. Is that something you've struggled with over the time? Or?
Not so much in recent years. Say I've kind of been in this business for 22 years, but without a doubt, it took me time to learn that.
Yes.
To learn that was the right thing to do. It was maybe only my mid-30s. I was going to say 2 years ago, Scott, but maybe about 10 years ago that I started to learn. Listen, I think you have to find out the work-life balance, and there's only so long you can, be putting all your hours on the work, because that has effect right across your life and right across your family's life and happiness. And delegating the right people's part of that,
100%. So, who has been the best coach you've ever had, and why?
I've been very lucky. I've had a couple of the previous owners. I've been genuinely, and I hope they watch this now and take me out for dinner. But the guy called Neil Benson, a Limerick man who originally started Contract People, was our original company name. Phenomenal operator, Scott, inspirational man, cared about people and taught me the importance about looking after people.
Yeah.
And then Alan Rutherford, who would have would have been my lane manager. We became business partners then. Again, both are very close friends, both different operators in terms of how they operated. Both phenomenal leaders and real life coaches, to be honest, as well as business coaches. But I've genuinely been very lucky, and they know that. They know that, and I've told them that previously.
Yeah. But I mean, with the benefit they have given you pay dividends in the signs of things.
100%. I learned so much of both of them.
In different ways. You were saying as well.
Different ways that slightly different approaches and how they operated, but complemented each other perfectly. But I honestly, there's nothing I do that I haven't learned from one of those two guys, because I was straight out of university and this business and under their management. So everything I know about this business and how we operate is really out of those two guys.
Cool. So, put you on the spot. Do you have any favorite quotes or sayings that you like?
Let's put me on the spot, Scott.
Everybody says that.
Well, one we use quite often is it's really a mistake if you don't learn from it.
Right, yeah.
And I think it's it's maybe one I made up myself at one stage to cover my own shortcomings. But I think there's real relevance in it. I genuinely, especially when you're starting a role, you're always learning.
Yeah.
And when you do something for the first time, I don't think there's nothing wrong with making mistakes as long as you sit down and think, right, why did that happen? What was the outcomes? What should I have done differently? And we new people coming into the business don't always believe that's how we operate, but genuinely that is how we try and operate. Is listen, grand, we made a mistake. We're not going to get upset. What do we do about it? How do we stop it happening again?
Excellent.
What should we do next time?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was said it, but it's I've made that many mistakes, and I learned so much from them. I'm going to go and make a few more. So something along those lines.
That's the same gig, yeah.
Yeah. So what have you learned about yourself in your journey?
You never told me a psychiatry session, Scott. Now. I suppose again, I've learned, and probably again, it took me about 10 years ago to learn that even being a business owner, that you have to close, you have to shut your mind down at some stages. So you have to separate your home and your work life, because I found for years here I've spent 24/7 ruminating about work and things going over my mind. And here, you work to live. You don't live to work. But that's something I had to learn and kind of teach myself through the likes of coaching help with that, Scott. I have to tell you, there is a time to switch off, no matter what's going on in business life.
Totally agree.
Your family and your life and your friends. That's the enjoying part of it. That's the kind of, you need that time and space to be able to perform right in your working life as well. So
yeah, no, that's well said. And that's the last. I think that's the last deep question. I was just checking there. Don't worry. Pressure off. What does the future look like, and what do you see as the main challenges going forward then for your business?
So we're massively excited, Scott, because we've come from, I say, we've quite a varied journey. We were a relatively small privately owned business, and I was lucky enough to become a shareholder in that. We sold to a larger business, who fantastic business, but very corporate, because they were so large, business based in Dublin. We done that for 4 years. Bought the business last year, made a pocket load of changes, but we were able to move quicker and we were more live and so on, because we had full control. So we're really excited. But here we can see growth with irons in the fire with clients across the UK and Ireland. Which we fully expect to be growing with those clients. So growth into the south of Ireland and also more in the GB where we are operating, but we know there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
The future's bright and the future's exciting for us.
Great.
I think what we do well is clients stick with us when we find clients, because we work hard and we do a bloody good job for them.
Yeah.
And we like to grow with clients and diversify. So we're excited about the next 4 or 5 years and the growth trajectory that we're on.
Brilliant. That sounds amazing, especially in everything else that's going on at the minute, to be in that position and that mindset. What would you say to anyone going into business for themselves?
I think here, number one, I when we moved to look at the management buyout, it took me a while to have the confidence in myself and the belief that let's go for it. Let's go and do it. So I'd say to anybody that has an idea or is thinking about it, is do it. What's the worst can happen? It's really what it is. The other thing I would say is there's so much help out there. Speak to as many people as you can, because the majority of people are only too happy to help and share their experience, and someone else sharing the benefit of their experience is as close as you'll get to living it yourself. So speak to as many people as possible, but have the confidence and belief in yourself to do it. What's the worst can happen here?
Brilliant.
Go for it.
Go for it. Last question. If you started your business again, what would you do differently?
Scott. Scott, I don't know. You may edit this one out.
That's okay. In fairness, we touched on it a lot. I mean, from going through the questions, you learned that set it down when you had to and employ the right people quicker. So maybe you've answered it already. And it's really refreshing to hear, you know, how you've gone through the journey. And as I say, I think it's going to help a lot of the people who are going to share this with you, who are bit newer in their journey. But I like your last one. Just go for it. What, you know, the bigger risk is not to try it, isn't it?
Exactly. And again, here those 2 points were kind of together, because it was, I spoke to a lot of people about that and took their opinion, friends and family and colleagues, clients. It was actually a good friend of mine, and we sat down over a pint, and it was his words going, "What have you got to lose here? What have you got to lose, really?" And very wise man. I don't tell him that. I'll not say his name, but
No.
I think it was good advice. Give it a go. What's the worst can happen here? You know? I still don't have an answer for that last question. What would I do differently?
You must have done it all pretty right then.
No, I think we've tried to come on with a real positive mindset, and COVID and lockdown, in a strange way, because of the timing of our management, it did give us a lot of time. They think about it and plan and strategize, and who we wanted to be, as well as what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. So we've brought all those plans in, and we've implemented a lot of them, not all of them. We've implemented a lot of them. So you're taking me out of that kind of positive mindset I've forced myself to be in.
No, I think you've, you know, I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, I mean, if you wouldn't change it, that's brilliant. And if that's down to how you planned it, I mean, again, I think that's an A1 answer. You know, I mean,
it sounds arrogant. If get maybe a pint, Scott, we'll probably find out more than a few things I could tell you.
There's a theme here with the pints.
There's mistakes on there. Here,
no, of course.
Mistakes are 100% of it, made mistakes weekly, daily, even. But again, that mindset of training engineer of going, right, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Let's just fix it.
Yep.
I can't kind of pinpoint one thing where I went, happens weekly, daily, but I can't kind of, at this stage we're early doors, so there's nothing that's major that I can tell you that made a boo-boo there, you know.
No, as I say, I think the planning that you put in and affording the time to do that has been key. But it sounds things what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Okay.